What's going on, winners? Your boy Loso 2.0, and I have a special guest here. Dionna, please introduce yourself to the audience.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dionna Holland, and I'm currently a Class A CDL driver and a licensed cosmetologist in the state of Delaware.
Okay. All right. Cool, cool, cool. Nice little start from it. So first of all, we can start with, the CDL driving, right? Class A CDL driver. What made you get into that? I mean, personally, myself, I don't know too much about it. I know my friend is one. I know it's kind of like, you can give me your experience. It's more like a male dominated kind of industry. Would you say
So,
that?
when I started back in 2019, I will say that it was pretty male dominant because I want to say this was like a little bit before COVID-19 happened, right?
Hmm.
So, there was women getting in the industry like myself, but it wasn't as known, like it still is pretty male dominant, but a lot of us women are tapping into the industry, which I love to see. So when I went into it in 2019, I just said I could do this too. My father, he's been in it over 20 plus years. And it's just something that just came out of nowhere because, after graduating out of high school in 2016, I was one of the ones that didn't really know what I wanted to do. I did get my cosmetology license also before that in like 2018 time, but I wasn't as passionate with hair. So I just chose to go that route. CDL school was only 4 weeks long. So I said that's a no-brainer. So
Hmm.
I went into that and ever since then I just been on the road. I did do a little bit of regional. I started off with a company called Werner Enterprises. I'm not sure if you know about that.
Hmm.
But I was based out of Curtis Bay, Maryland area, like near Baltimore area where the Key Bridge went down. Yeah, I used to
Hmm.
go over there all the time. So I was like, I'm glad I wasn't there, when that happened. But yeah, I was over that area. So after that, did that for a little bit, and then that's when I got my year or so into that, and then I applied locally, and then that's when I was closer to home, and been doing that now. Coming up on I'm in my 5th year now. Coming
If
this
you're
August. Yep,
okay.
yep.
All right. So, I mean, you talked about a lot of stuff. I kind of want to even talk about like kind of what you were talking about, life after high school, right?
Hmm.
I feel like personally myself, even people that we went to high school. By the way, if you guys watched, we went to high school together. People that we went to high school with, they kind of like peaked at high school, right? And that's just like now it's like they're still kind of living off of that. You know what I mean? I know a couple people, not gonna say no names, but people that just like they peaked at high school, right? And they still, and then there's people that graduated and then they go through that area where it's like, what do I kind of do? Like, what kind of got you out of that idea of like, because it's kind of like almost like a depression kind of thing. Like, yo, what do I do next? Like, so how did you kind of get through that?
Oh man. The key word you said was depression. I mean, I feel like because now we're becoming the new adults here and we're trying to navigate life, like, it's so much going on. We didn't have it like obviously how our parents had it. So we're just trying to figure this out. And I mean, one, I don't know your faith or anyone's faith for that matter, but I believe in God. So that was like something that I always reminded myself like if God is going to be in my corner, he's going to make sure that he's going to see it through for me at the end of the day. And whether I cannot see what the future hold, I just have to have faith. Now it wasn't easy, but I just kept with the mission, or trying to stay clear of what I'm trying to do. I did try different, careers in between that, trying to figure it out, but I still stay focused on the main goal was to, make sure that I'm financially stable, making sure that I'm able to provide for, the things that I need in life. So, yeah, I just feel like, you can't give up. You always have to remain, have your faith in line and just hope and know that, better is coming and just stay the course pretty much.
Yeah, no, I understand that completely. Putting your faith in God is, like you said, pretty much a key thing. You know that He's going to work things out. It's going to work itself out. But it takes time. And I feel like now with social media, a lot of times people feel rushed. They feel as though they need to get it under, figured out right now, or what they want to do, what they, and have that money too as well already right now. But it pretty much takes time. I was even talking to one of my sales representatives today, and he was talking about, oh, I'm trying to move out of my mom's house. I'm like, okay, you just turned 21 yesterday? Like, just relax.
Come on now, like slow it down a bit, okay?
Like, you
You
don't even
gonna
have
get
to.
there.
A lot of people like to rush it though, and I'm like, yo, I mean,
Yeah.
I wasn't blessed enough to have like my parents for me to stay past, a certain age too as well. So I was like, the people that do, I feel like you should take advantage of it, definitely, and take your time with it. But yeah, no, that was pretty much some good stuff that you were talking about. Now, with being a CDL driver, what's kind of like your routine? Kind of like, are you just like an overnight, or are you, what I mean, during the day? Like, what's your routine like too as well? Because I know, like, my friend is, like I said, he's one, but he's like, his sleep schedule's all messed up and everything. Like, how's it for
That's
yourself?
that is very funny that you said it because today, of all days, I had to get up about 3:30 in the morning. Yeah, it could be rough, and I've never been like a real super early morning person. So, normally my schedule is like between like 6:30 start time. So having to
Mm-hmm.
start like 3 hours earlier than that, yeah, that could be brutal. And but it shifts. So, my main thing is when you're in the industry and you have a dispatcher, that's someone dispatching your loads out to you,
Mm-hmm.
get an understanding with them and let them know like, hey, like I would like to have this start time, that way, I have the proper rest, or like I can get up and make it at these appointment times, because it's a lot to get up and then go out there and be amongst everyone else. It's a lot of different things that you have to deal with. So yeah, like that schedule for me is important because I have to stay in line. Like, whether I'm not at work, I'm working on like my health, my fitness, making sure that I'm eating the right things, because being on the road, whether you over the road, regional or local, that food out there, it'll get you tore up. So yeah, being 5 years in, I definitely seen both ends of that. So I was like, yeah, no, I'm trying to make sure I stay consistent and have like a system lined up for me, so I stay and meet my goals, so I'm not getting out of hand with that. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
mm.
my brother, he recently just started working truck driving, and he's like, bro, I eat out like every day. I can't even pack my lunch. Like, this is just
Is he over the road?
yeah. So he's like, yeah, he goes to like probably like New York, or like
Okay.
he doesn't go out too far, and it's more overnight. He's like on call because he just started probably about like maybe a month or two ago. So
Oh
he's
yeah.
like usually on call. So he'll go there. He's like, some days he'll be there, and then they'll tell him they'll need him by like 12 o'clock, and he gets to go home, but he gets paid for the day. So it's like, oh, that's cool.
Right.
But other times it's like, dang, he gets sent out. I think last week he was like regretting it because he got sent out by himself. He was like, that's the worst too as well, when you got to do a whole route by yourself. But yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Did you have that experience too as well, where you had to do a route by yourself, and how did it make you feel?
So I never did a route with anyone else. I mean, when it came down to, starting with a company, you have to go through some training, whether that's
Mm-hmm.
like for like a day or two or maybe up to a week. But then for the most part, like I'm always out on my own. I'm a solo driver.
Mm-hmm.
But there is team driving. I just never done it. But I can say working at a company before, a company named Medline, they deliver medical supplies.
Mm-hmm.
And breaking down those boxes and trying to deliver it into different surgical places, hospitals, is very hands on. That could take a toll, especially when it's like, 95 to 100 degrees outside and you hauling these packages in. So I definitely seen where the labor can really kick in and like have you thinking like, do I really want to do this right now? Like I could use a helper. But I mean, yeah, I just pretty much was like, let me just thug this out. I like this is what I'm, hired to do. So let me just get this over with at the end of the day, because no one's coming to save me.
Yeah,
But
for
yeah.
sure.
Hmm.
For sure, definitely. So yeah, if you're hearing that, I will only recommend this if labor, if you want to do some hard labor stuff like. So what's like the end goal though, right? With the CDO, is it like you want to own your own truck, or like where are you trying to see yourself, in 5 years from now?
So definitely don't want to go that route. I get asked
Mhm.
that all the time. I said no. I said I'm gonna let the pros or people that want to deal with the headaches of that,
Sure.
because that's a lie when it comes down to fuel costs, truck maintenance. To replace a tire. Now that's something that happens frequently. A blowout can happen. That's like
Mhm.
$400 and up. You know, you got to think about that. And mind you, the fuel is going to cost you way more than that. So I was like, yeah,
Mhm.
no, that's not something I want to do. So I've been consistent with just being a company driver, getting paid, that way, because I know how many hours I need to work to make this, and having all that aligned. But in 5 years, like I was saying before, I would like to keep on working on my finances, setting up assets for myself. Because like in high school, no one really taught us, well, for me, no one really taught me how to like save or where to put your money in to make it grow, compound. Like I didn't know nothing about that. So me like trying to learn and figure out like what's the code? Like how do I crack the code? How do I get myself out of the situation? How can I create generational wealth? So
Mhm.
I started to tap into that, trying to figure out where I could start building more assets. So that's the main goal, is just keep learning, getting in the books, and trying to figure out how to make my money work for me and not me always working for the money. So that way when I am ready to have a family, things like that, I'm able to pass down that knowledge and, hand them the key and like, this is what we need to do, because I just feel like in today's world, like, who knows what it's going to be like 5 years from now, and the fact that my family couldn't tell me or didn't know, so I was just like, I want to be better, for myself and for, my future family. So that's something that I definitely want to like zero in on, be consistent with, working a decent job, getting paid, with the company that I'm at now, and just start being more, what's the word I'm looking for? Wise, I guess, where my money's going, how to, manage that and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually, a lot of people don't know this, but the average millionaire is like 40 plus years old, right? So we just, like I said, we just social media tricks us sometimes and it's seeing like, oh, we'll see this millionaire, see that millionaire, but there's billions of people in the world, so that's these million, the ones that are millionaires before 40 are like the top 1%. So we're only seeing the top 1% on social media, so it's making us feel like we have to rush in order to get these things done. But a lot of them are, it's this guy. He's called I forgot his name, but I'll send you. He's like, he calls himself the 9 to 5 millionaire, and he literally was a cop. You heard him before?
Yeah, yeah.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
yep. So he was a cop, and then he just like used his money to start buying real estate properties and everything. And they're like, oh wow, now he's like a millionaire, but he didn't do it from like blowing up. Like he's probably like in his late 40s or whatever, but he did it by putting his money away, just working a regular 9 to 5. But he was putting his money in the correct places in order to have it grow. So yeah, it's kind of like entrepreneurship, where it's like you're just trying to deal with your company, stuff like that, and just make the money and just put it in the right places to set you up for the future, and then you can enjoy it, because 40 is still young. 40 is like, you're
Oh
still
yeah,
young.
definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I thought when I was in high school I was like 4 year old head, but now it's like
We said we want to
40.
retire when we 40, right? Like we want to be
Yeah,
done
yeah.
working. No, don't
You know
stop
what I mean?
there.
So it's like that.
Yeah.
That's just what I'm saying. Like that, just that mix. That's smart. Though. That's smart. So when it comes down to your cosmetology, like where did you kind of put your focus in when it came to? Because I know there's different things you can do. You can do like wigs, braid and stuff like that. Where was your focus mostly at when you started to do cosmetology?
So I was working in the salon environment, just mainly doing hair.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I did do some like wax services as well, but mainly just doing hair with that, honestly, because cosmetology is hair, skin, nails, makeup, but majority is hair.
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought that was something that I had to continue doing, not really knowing that I could have tapped into all these different things at that time. Like it didn't dawn on me until I took a little short break around like the end of last year, from trucking, just for like a couple months, just to try something different. And I worked at a
Mm-hmm.
wax studio for a short period of time and figure like, let me try this out. I loved waxing, but then it wasn't like, financially stable for me as well with that. So I was like in it because I had to experience what it was like, which I'm glad I did. So I know like, okay, I'm capable of doing that. Instead of
Hmm.
saying like I stuck with this and never tried, I could try different things, and if it doesn't work out, okay, at least I tried. Or I could double double back on that and be like, okay, I know I could do this, let me try this out with that. So it's like I'm never going to just be confined to just doing one thing. Um so when I was doing the doing hair, I just kind of fell out of passion for it. Everyone calling you on the days that you off, or just all odd hours. It was very inconsistent. And I don't know what it's like for men when they get their hair cut, but women, when it comes to their hair, they different. And they want you to work a miracle, and you have to tell them like, hey, like this can't happen for you, like, and then they're looking at you like, well, what do you mean? So it's like we were like a hair doctor, honestly. So I was like, yeah, I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. But I still may do it on the side from time to time, but yeah, my passion wasn't there anymore. So I just fell in love with it. But I do still enjoy doing hair, like obviously on myself sometimes and
Yeah,
family and friends, but that's about it.
I
Yeah.
feel that. I definitely feel that. I mean, honestly, with our haircuts, I just get every 2 weeks, just get a haircut. I'm good. Like it's
Simple.
not. I just need you to be. See, I had to change barbers a couple of times because it was like I just need you to be there on time. That's it. If you're there on time, if I'm beating you to the appointment, it's like, bro, I got other stuff to do. I'm kind of busy, so it's
Right.
like there. I'm on there on time. Get my haircut every 2 weeks. I'm good after that. But
Right.
yeah, since then. So that's probably why. So you needed. You said you switched back from cosmetology back to CDL just so you could have more of that consistent income in because of the kind of like the stress that you were dealing with from just the clients and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. I said, no, this is not something I really want to continue to do. It just didn't fulfill me no more. And honestly, if I'm being really honest with myself, I got accustomed to being, to myself. When I'm in the truck, it's just me, my
Yeah.
music, and the world. Now I had to tap back into like, interacting with different people. Not saying that I couldn't do it or I didn't love to do it, but it was just, you may come across some people that's just but you
Yeah.
still gotta fulfill them and do what they ask you to do. So yeah, I was like, all right, I see.
Yeah, no, absolutely. When I'm getting my cut, if we just sitting there in silence, it's just weird. Like you gotta sit there, you gotta talk to me. We got you gotta tell me how your day was.
Definitely.
I be talking about my
Definitely.
barber, everything. But no, that's what's up. That's what's up. So I also seen, kind of like through your highlights and stuff like that. And this may have started, where you said you were going through your depression, kind of like your empowered like woman type of journey. Um, like what pushed you into that, and how has it been going so far, and what kind of advice do you have for African American women too as well that are going through depression?
So for me, as far as I can remember, high school, that was a breeze. We would think like, oh, we can't wait till we graduate, this and that. And now you get out here in the real world and you got real responsibilities. And you're like, you know what? That wasn't that bad. Even though like we all had our own emotions towards certain things that we was going through. But, if I could go back in time, I would be more like consistent with building relationships and tapping in and doing different networking things,
Hmm.
and just trying out like sports, for example. Like I always say, I was like, man, I wish I would have done a sport rather than trying to work a job because we got the rest of our life to work. So I was like, I wish I would have done a sport and stayed with that. But um, just having like my family in my corner, my friends, like whenever I had something going on or I needed to vent about something or, relationship stuff, it just dawned on me like, the people that's in your corner are the ones that's like your village, the ones that you can depend on, and vice versa. Like they can depend on me too. And I just thought to myself, just talking with one of my close friends, I said, Delaware is being more built up. There's more businesses coming
Sure.
about. There's so many different things happening now. And I said, what I don't see though is that, well, it's probably out there, but I haven't seen it. I was like, you know, I feel like there should be more women empowerment groups happening. Like for me, I dream about just having like a day to myself where I could, unwind, whether that's getting like a facial, a massage, like somewhere I could go and just, detach from the world and be at peace. And I said, that's something that I would want to like, bring about in a community so women can feel comfortable and safe. And my friend, we were talking about, well, maybe we should start a podcast just of us talking about different, things that we had experienced. Like we're in our, from our early 20s to our late 20s now, because we know we getting old. So I was like, we could just talk about different things, so many things that's like impacting women and men too, in general, like different situations. And just, I feel like a lot of people have so many opinions when it comes to certain things, but sometimes it's better to put it all out on the table, because you never know who's listening on the other end and needs to hear that or know how to navigate and get through that situation. And I just feel like it's better to put it out there than to hold it in. And then, so many situations happen, suicide, people just, don't know how to deal with nothing. So, I just feel like we had to get out that box of just trying to like feel like we're so strong, we can do it all on our own. And it's like, no, it's okay. Like if you need help, if you need to talk, whatever is happening, like it's okay. So that's something that I want to do. And just being my own experience from like growing up, being a dark skinned woman at that, I just feel like it hit different a little bit for me growing up, because that wasn't something that was seen as beauty, even though it's very beautiful. All shades of color, is beautiful. But me being a dark skinned woman, I just would love to see more and more of us coming out, and just showing like what it is to be a beautiful woman from the inside and out. And just, I just feel like it's so much space out there for all of us. So that's what I want, to implement and put out there, and just show my face and show me,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I plan to do, and going forward. Yeah.
No, that's what's up. That's what's up. So your close friend that you were talking about, is that like a friend that you built a relationship with through high school, or is it someone you met after high school, or?
I'm not sure if you know her. Her name is Daria. Daria Mosley. That is her name on Instagram, and we've been best friends since about elementary school. Now
Dang.
yeah, it's like as I get older, I'm like, man, like I'm just grateful to still have friends that for so long, think about all the stuff that we went through, all the stages in our life, and we still locked in.
Yeah,
So
no, for
I really value friendships and relationships over anything else. Like, people always, like you said, trying to rush to get to that next car, that next house, this and that. And trust me, I had my fair share of going through my phase of getting a new car or this and that. And I'm like, that doesn't even really matter. Like at the end of the day, like that doesn't make me whole. So, yeah, we've been locked in for a long time, and we talked about everything. I know so much about her, she knows so much about me, and the fact that we was able to be like vulnerable with each other, it made me more vulnerable to like try to put myself out there, and being as though that I'm talking in front of a camera right now, and I'm like, I never thought I would do that, but it's bringing me out my shell. So like, if that could happen for me, imagine how many other doors or paths that other women and other people in general could just take that option and just run with that, because we have so many creative ideas, things that we could do. We are the future.
Yeah, no, we
So,
are. We are. And that's really important too as well, to have those type of relationships built, right? Whether it was like in high school, college. I still hang out with a lot of the guys that I well, not a lot, but a good amount of people that, I knew from like a while, like middle school, elementary school too as well. That we
mhm.
still in contact today. So that allows you to kind of like have that, like you said, you get to bounce ideas off each other, you get to push each other, you get to grow with each other. So that really is nice too as well. And I'm glad to hear that too. And another thing you said too that I liked also is that Delaware really is building up. I feel like, right. And a lot of times you see a lot of people, and even when I talk to my close friends too as well, you probably know Preston and all that. So
Mhm.
yeah, when I talk to him, it's like, yo, like we talk about all the time, like, oh, maybe we should move out before we 30 and stuff like that. And then we're like, well, we were just sitting there thinking like a lot of stuff that we're trying to go out there to look for, a lot of that we kind of have right here. and it's not really about where you live at. It's kind of like a mindset thing. A lot of times when people move, it's like they're like, oh, you know what, I'm new, I'm here by myself, so I have to interact with people, I have to grow. But we have a lot of that stuff here in our own state. We're just not like taking advantage of it, or we're not building it up. And that's where kind of like this YouTube, my YouTube channel, podcast, my public speaking, it all comes into play. It's just the idea of like, we can build the things in our community that we did not have growing up, or the things that we want to have growing up. I mean, we can build those things instead of going outside and looking for them. And that's whether that's going outside of, our, race. It could be even that. It could be going outside our neighborhoods, going outside our states. We can build all those stuffs up ourselves. So now I really thought that was, powerful with some of the things that you were talking about.
And I wanted to say, because when I asked you, I was like, what is it that you're trying to do here, and you simply brought it down to like, trying to put people out there in the community and recognize themselves as leaders, because really we really are, in everything that we do, whether it's big to somebody, small to somebody, like it doesn't matter. And the fact that you realize that, and you are making that platform and that way for people to come on here and talk about different things, like I really like, I value that and I admire that about you, because it's like you're allowing this to happen. It's blossoming right before our eyes. And it's just like, it's amazing. And then you talked about confidence, like having that confidence, because a lot of us, we don't have it, or we're still trying to like build that up. And having confidence is the key, because sometimes we move out of like, oh, we don't want to do this because fear. But sometimes you got to like shut that out and just do it, instead of trying to stay in that box and hide behind that fear, because then you will never get to where you want to go. So
absolutely, absolutely. I definitely appreciate that. Now, I was looking on your page too as well, and you're a little bit of a green thumb too as well. Is that with the garden and all that stuff, is that also kind of like a form of like, is that therapeutic for you too as well, gardening and stuff like that? Like, and how'd you get into that?
It was. So, what you seen was, I started a garden there. I'm no longer living at that location, but when I did, I started in the backyard, and my grandmother helped me out, because my grandma, she's a green thumb too. And she helped me with it. And I just love to see how everything, like, when you're planting something and then you actually get to watch it grow. I don't know
Yeah.
if you ever experienced that, but it's like, oh, okay. All right. Like, it's like the little things in life. Like, you really get to see it all evolve. And it really brought me true happiness, because I was like, that's something that I made, I created, and I get to enjoy the fruits of my labor. But I will say the mosquitoes started tearing me up. So I had to shut it down. I was like, no. I was like, every time I go out there, I gotta put on a hoodie, sweatpants, boots, all that, because they would just eat me up. And I said, darn, this is crazy. But I still have plants. I'm still into that. My main thing is trying to work on keeping them alive, keeping them thriving. There's so many different things when it comes to like plants, temperature, and all that. But yeah, it definitely brought a sense of like calmness and peace over me, just to like focus on that. Like, it's like a hobby, honestly. Getting a hobby will really help you out with a lot of things. If you got so much things on your mind and you don't have an outlet, just try a hobby. And there's nothing wrong with having your own garden or having your own your own plants. Like, it's really peaceful, and I love it.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. Listen, mosquitoes though, I don't play with mosquitoes, so I'm gonna be honest with you. I
Yeah,
went to
you as well.
Jamaica, and things was tearing me up in Jamaica too. We were like, nah, I can't do this no more.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's what's up. So is that also like roller skating for you too as well? Is that also like another hobby that kind of just like is therapeutic for you?
Yeah, I mean, back then in middle school days, we was always at Christiana skating rink, and even before Ellesmere, when Ellesmere skating rink was open, that was like so long ago. I don't even know when they closed down, but I was over there too, and I was just like, the music, your friends, everybody just on the skating rink floor, and we just skate and just whatever. Like, that was just something to do, like going to the movie. So I always love skating. I still got my skates to this day. And it's something I actually want to get into. I actually want to like actually become like professional at it, like knowing how to like certain moves, do all that. I don't know if you've seen that, how they are on
Yeah,
social media, they doing all the
I know.
flips and stuff. I was like, yeah, that's something I want to get good
Now they
at.
were
But
doing that thing for a little bit too, where it was like Kel was like kind of DJing like every Sunday. It was like every last Sunday, everybody was going to Christian skating ring. I was just
Oh,
like, yeah, I can skate, but I'm not like that. They was doing too much. It was like ATL in there. I'm like, yo, listen, I ain't
oh,
gonna lie. You know what I'm
oh,
talking
I
about? Yeah,
missed that.
yeah, they was doing it in the summer. They were doing it like every month. It was adult skating. They brought it back, and for the summer, like every Sunday, around like 6 or something to like 9 or 10 at night, and it was just my legs was hurting because skating is tough. I'm gonna be honest with you. My legs was killing me and all that stuff like that. I can't even skate back. Can you skate backwards too? I can't even skate backwards.
Yeah, but not as fast. Like that's one thing. Like I want to get really good at. It. Like I want to be able to just go around real quick and just like, yeah, I did that. Yo, I did go to the Christian skating ring though, if I can remember. Probably like last year, it was they did like a '90s theme. I did go to that. If that's what you're talking
That
about.
might have been one of the things then, yeah, because I know
Okay.
they were doing, like I said, it was adult skating every Sunday. Oh no, every
Okay.
last Sunday of the month.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was probably one of the times I went. Yep.
Yeah, that's one of
Yeah.
them things. Yeah, it was cool. It was
Anything
cool
to
though.
get people out, like doing stuff like that, and that's also being active. Like I said, me being a truck driver, I want to stay active. Make sure that I keeping straight from that.
No, for sure. I've seen some truck drivers. I mean, you know what I mean? And sometimes people let themselves go. It look
Woo! I'm like, how do you pass the DOT physical? Because I know you gotta do certain things, but hey.
Yeah, that's tough. That's definitely
Mm-hmm.
tough. That's definitely tough. So we basically went over a lot of good stuff here today. A lot of things about just mental health, how it is being a African American woman, especially a dark skin, growing up too as well, getting through depression after high school. If you had to leave the audience with one last piece of advice, what would it be?
I would just say be yourself, you know, uh, don't hide behind fear. Work on yourself. A lot of times we always pointing the finger at somebody for reasons why certain things happen in our life, but realize we are in control. We only got one shot at this life, we're not here for a long, long time, and I just feel like, work on yourself at the end of the day, perfect within you before you're out there trying to establish relationships, business partnerships, stuff like that. When you want to see yourself here, but you have a mindset of here, you gotta build yourself up to that and take your time. Nothing needs to be rushed. I feel like a lot of lessons and a lot of important things to learn is through the journey, and then
Mhm.
that ultimately it just starts to fall in place for you. Like once you start implementing those type things, you'll see it just takes time.
Absolutely, absolutely. I like that. Be yourself, take your time, all that stuff. First of all, I definitely want to say appreciate you for taking the time out. I know your schedule's messed
Yeah.
up being a truck driver, for hopping on here and giving us some golden nuggets here. Thank you.
Appreciate you for having me, Carlos. I really appreciate that. Yeah.
No, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, that's all I had. If someone wanted to reach out to you, just for some advice or just to talk to you, or whether it's about CDL cosmetology or anything like that, how could they reach out to you?
Okay, so I'll give you two. I got an email address you can reach me at. It's my
Mhm.
first name, Dionna, Dionna, the number 2610 at gmail.com. Or you can reach out to me on Instagram, which is Dionna Renee, DIONNARENA. So
Okay.
that's how you reach me.
All right, cool, cool, cool. So go ahead, reach out to her. You know what I mean? Go get some advice. Go over there and help build each other up. That's all we're looking for. Again, thank you for hopping on here. If you're
Yeah.
listening to this, I want you guys to keep killing the day. Winners win, losers lose, and you guys pray for success like this. I'll talk
You
to you guys.
already know.